Check-In Thursdays. We hope that you made it home safely from the drive-through Thursdays. And as always, keep in mind that tonight, this conversation is your conversation. So we want you to give us comments, ask questions, feel free. Through this digital space, we want to make sure that you're involved in this conversation. Tonight, we will continue our series on relationships. Tonight, we have a young couple, and we're going to share tonight about how they're navigating through the COVID-19 season as well as life as a newlywed couple. So tonight, we have our friends with us, Brandon and Ambry Walker. Can you all give us some hand claps? Can you all give us some waves and some hellos to make sure that our studio audience is engaged in our show tonight? All right. First of all, let me ask y'all a question. How are y'all doing in this season? It is a very great time to be alive.
We're doing wonderful, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Doing
You
great.
see that?
Yeah.
They told us that at marital counseling.
Teamwork?
Yes, makes the dream work.
It makes the dream work. Thank you so much. But keep in mind, Brandon, tonight I am the host and you are the guest. Don't host my show.
I'm so sorry.
All right, there we go. Studio audience, once again, just to make sure you know who
Tell
everyone is.
Jordan River.
I am the host, and these are my guests here tonight on our Thursday check-in. All right?
It's checkpoint.
Oh, wow, that's embarrassing. On the checkpoint. All right, all right. Y'all know what it is. All right, so we're just gonna kind of navigate through some questions, and we're gonna have some fun tonight, y'all. Remember, as we talked last week, we wanted to be informative, but we also wanted to be fun. We also wanted to be a real conversation between us and y'all and us. All right. So how do you all manage your time during this COVID season as a couple, knowing that y'all are in the same house? Probably more than you have been in the tenure of your relationships. How do you properly manage your time together?
For me, I just started back working out again.
Okay.
So that gives us some time apart in a way. But I mean, we really don't get on each other's nerves, to be honest. We actually enjoy being around each other. This time has actually brought us closer together.
Okay.
She actually gets on my nerves all the time. I don't know what she's talking
right.
about. No, but seriously though, no, we really don't annoy each other like that. At least not intentionally. But anyway, yeah, we've actually been drawn closer during this season. Actually, it's been real cool. Better than what I expected. Not that I expected bad.
Right.
But nah, it's been cool. It's been real fun.
All right, so both of y'all said that y'all have used this time to get closer. My studio audience wants to know, what exactly have you done that has drawn you all closer? Keep in mind, this is a PG-13 audience. We don't need all the details of your life, only the ones that my audience needs to know. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, touche.
We enjoy crime shows. We are currently watching Bull right now. So it's like a trial science show based on Dr. Phil.
Okay.
Yeah. Having conversations.
Okay.
It's amazing, like how COVID-19 has revealed how much people really don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean that like don't talk like negatively, like we just don't talk to each other, but like just the simple art of conversation, like just actually just talking to the person that you live with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we've definitely had more conversations, fun conversations, in-depth conversations. We every now and again, you know, when I'm feeling like I want to do better about my body,
Yeah.
we go walking together,
Okay.
you know, things like that, exercise together and stuff. That's not too often.
Okay.
This don't feel like.
Because I'm very inconsistent with that.
Okay.
But yeah, and you know, watching our shows together, all that good stuff. The stuff that honestly, these are things that we've kind of been doing. I don't think we ever just realized how imperative they were to our relationship.
Yeah.
Because we just so used to doing them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let's establish for my studio audience, they are not criminals, maybe in training. We'll see in the future. We talk about communication. We talk about spending time together, which sounds to me like intentionality.
Yeah.
Like making sure that if we're intentional about how we spend our time, then our time doesn't feel forced.
Right.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah, most
That
definitely.
in this season, if we become more intentional about what we can get out of the time together in any relationship, then we don't feel like we're stuck in the relationships that we may be in.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Here's one thing I want to tell our studio audience because it's vitally important. Please get out of the house. Not necessarily go and put yourselves in harm's way, but it's good to breathe fresh air. Go
Yeah.
outside, take a walk around the park, not after dark. So it's just important that you do that. All right. Have some. Never mind. Y'all don't need to know the rest of the song. All right. So let me give you a scenario and you guys help us navigate through it. Remember at home, if you have any questions, please send them in. We would love for you to engage in our conversation tonight. What happens in a scenario, hypothetical scenario, what happens, you and Ambry have been in the house all day together, nobody's getting on your nerves, but you can start to see that y'all are agitated a little bit just by being confined for so long. How do y'all navigate that? Not necessarily get on each other's nerves, but when somebody is just there, it's obvious that they're uncomfortable. It's obvious that they are a little bit overwhelmed from being stuck, and then both of y'all work full-time jobs. How do you navigate that tension together as a young couple?
One or two things. One, I'll say, come on, let's get up and go.
Okay.
Let's go walking. Let's just go drive around.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go do something.
Okay.
On the flip side of that, it's a matter of understanding your mate.
Right.
And I understand and I realize that there are moments where she wants and might possibly even need time just to do her.
Okay.
Just so whether that's just being alone at the house or going somewhere by herself or going somewhere with her friends or whatever, like she needs that for her. So being understanding of that and not taking it personally as if she needs time away from you.
Right.
She just needs time for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about yourself?
I agree, and like specifically for him, he enjoys affection in a sense of maybe it's just me sitting a little closer.
Okay.
Or
I'm a big baby.
he is.
We knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, he just answered it.
Wow. We knew that. Wow. We speaking for everybody.
Me and
Wow.
the studio audience. You
Wow.
could check. Y'all let them know in the comments.
Wow.
We already had concluded that.
Kind
Interesting.
of came to that
So
conclusion.
you coddle him a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
do, because I'm not one for much affection.
Oh wow.
So I'm intentional about making sure he gets his stuff. It's just a hug or just me sitting a little closer or just catering to him more so than I would on a daily basis.
Now we've been having a great time, but let's kind of dig in here if y'all don't mind, because I think what's important is that we learn realistic skills, and we can learn from you guys' testimony, of course, about dating, relationships, especially marriage early on. Ambry brings up a great point that she is not affectionate in the same sense that Brandon is affectionate, and of course vice versa. So my question would be, how did you learn and how do you navigate ensuring that although it may not be your preferred love language, that you still support the love language your husband prefers to receive?
It was very important for me to learn in premarital counseling that you cannot give someone attention the way that you want. You have to give it to them the way that they receive it. And so even though I'm not big on affection, that doesn't mean that I can't do it.
Right.
I just have to figure out how to do it so that that person is still receiving that affection that they need.
Okay. And what about yourself? Being an affectionate person, married to a person who doesn't show affection the same way you do, how do you ensure that you give her the affection she deserves to receive as opposed to the affection you prefer to give?
I guess for me it's a bit easier because I'm already an affectionate person.
Okay.
So she gonna get that from me regardless. Even when she don't want it, she she gonna get it from me regardless. But like she said, it's about making that adjustment and adapting to how you know your mate needs to be loved. I can't say this from experience, but it's similar to conversations I've heard about raising kids.
Okay.
Like if you have multiple children, your kids are different.
Yes.
So you don't raise all your kids the exact same way. There's certain things you do differently with one child than you did with the other one based on how you know they're wired. You know what I mean? And so likewise in relationships and in our marriage, just knowing how the other one is wired, you kind of make that adjustment. And let me also say, if there is ever a moment where I don't necessarily feel like she's being as affectionate as I want her to be, I don't take it personally because I know that that's not her strong suit.
Right.
So I appreciate the fact that she even tries as hard as she does. You know what I mean? And regardless of how I feel about it on the receiving end, I give it regardless.
So I think it's important that we stop and really pay attention to this, right? That what we're learning from Ambry and Brandon is that love is not general. Love is, especially as it pertains to relationship, is very specific, and it is important that both parties understand and learn how to properly love the opposite individual. It is fully okay for you to know how you want to be loved, but it's more important that you learn how to properly love the person you're in love with or you're in relationship with. All right. So one of our and please, studio audience, you are more than welcome to continue to ask us questions. We're here to make sure that we have only one conversation with all of us involved. One of my studio audience guests asked this question: are you both working from home? And if you are, who does the cooking?
So,
Well, before this happened, I am the cooker in the house.
Okay.
However, he asks questions. So like if he wants to cook something, he'll ask a question. But for the most,
no, she didn't say I cook. I ask questions. A
but
day is coming.
I'm the cooker in the house, and that's okay with me though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ambry's the cook, Brandon's the recipient,
Amen.
the inquisitive recipient. What's the if there's one dish that you guys go to more than anything else, what is it?
So my cooking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm breakfast all day.
Yeah, we're both.
Okay.
We
So
love
y'all
breakfast. Yeah.
Most
Love
important meal of
breakfast.
the day, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. All right. So, okay. Okay. So one of the things that I want to highlight, and I think we could talk about here, is how have you guys navigated continuing the romance in a season where you're already at home all day long. There is no place that you can go out on a date, theoretically. So how do you continue to date each other? How do you continue the romance in a season that has you in close quarters? That was a good question, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
It was okay.
I can't really deny that.
It was okay. By the way, I love the Easter shirt. I'll answer that in a couple of ways. One,
I'm going to return that for sure.
it's coming.
Yeah.
One of the ways is, you got to get creative. So, for instance, our anniversary is March 30th. Obviously, and we had plans. We was gonna go out of town, all the good stuff. Obviously, we couldn't go anymore because of COVID-19. So, got the money back for the hotel we booked. We got the flight credited. We couldn't get the money back before we got credited, so we got that waiting on us soon. Listen, but anyway, we're going somewhere.
Right.
But anyway, so we just decided to get like a little Airbnb, little loft that looks over downtown. Literally, less than 10 minutes from the house. But, it's about love.
Neither here nor
It's
there.
about romance, neither here nor there. And we just spent a couple of days, at home away from home. And so it's just a matter of getting creative and this is the importance of learning who you're with. When you learn the person that you're with, you know what they like and all that stuff. You have room to be creative and to do little things that, that's cute and, that keeps that romance thing going. However, the thing for us is that both of us are extremely simple people.
Okay.
Very
And
simple.
both of us are homebodies.
Yeah.
So like for us, sitting at home watching Bull is the most amazing thing. Like we don't have to do all the other stuff. Like just sitting at home watching our shows together and stuff is the most amazing thing for us. We're just real simple people like that.
We really only go out because of our friends. I mean, that's not a bad thing. We like to be at home.
So one person from our studio audience asks, is it hard to spend all of this time together? Is it hard for y'all to spend all of the time together? And I will add to this, and when is a sign that y'all need some time apart? What's a sign for y'all in your relationship when you need a little time apart?
I'll say it's not hard because what most people don't know unless they know us or they're our friends, we had hard conversations before we even got to seriously date. Like we would go out, but we would have hard conversations. We actually like each other. So like we have a good time.
Okay.
And we're super goofy, and so for us it's just there's not really a time where it gets to that point where we just don't want to be around each other unless, well, for me, if I had a hard day on my end, I just don't want to be bothered. But it has nothing to do with him, though.
Right.
I would add to that the reason why it's not hard for us is because both of us. I mean, we have mutual friends, obviously, but both of us have like a set of friends, a circle who we also kind of spend time with,
Mm-hmm.
and so in some ways our friends kind of serve as that escape.
Okay.
When we're around our people, when I'm with my boys or when she's with her people, like they kind of serve. Not say we're using them for that, but they kind of serve as that escape to where it's not us all the time.
For sure.
Now to answer that question about how do you know, and this might sound redundant, but when you know who you with, you know.
Yeah.
Like I know, cause Ambry's a very quiet person,
Mhm.
so sometimes, if to most people, she can be hard to read. I think I want to say I think I've gotten to a point where I can read her pretty well when I know when she's just being quiet or when it's something really bothering her.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I've gotten
You want to
gotten
confirm
better.
or deny that for us? Studio.
I think. I mean,
It's
I
a
could be
studio
I could be
audience
completely
question, not
wrong.
mine.
I could be completely wrong.
He's getting better at it.
Okay.
Progress,
Sometimes
amen.
there's absolutely nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the same face for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
It's actually
Everything.
the same face.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
I have other than this dog we finna get tomorrow. I have never seen anything excite her to where her expression changed.
Yeah.
If Ambry won the lottery, she would tell you like this: "I won the lottery." It's not like with this face. I won the lottery.
Yes.
Are you mad about that?
He's
We
not
balling now. What you
lying.
mean?
Right.
I did that about our budget. We had a discussion about budget. I was so casual about it. He
Mhm.
was like, "Oh,
Like, yeah, we
okay."
saved. Yeah, I've saved and we saved this with a straight face.
Right.
Like, what
Okay.
you mean?
Yes,
It's the
sir.
most money we've had since we've been together.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think from that we can get that it's super important for you to know your mate. There is not one general sign that goes across the board where you're able to indicate when it's time to spend when it's time for you to get time away from each other. It's important to know your mate and their triggers. As I told Brandon, I would get him back for his comment on my shirt, and I will let everybody in the studio audience know we did get him a booster seat. So now that's why he's sitting up so tall like a big boy. It's because we provided him a booster seat and something for him to put his feet on so they won't dangle during this
Hey,
time.
not too much.
All
of my
right.
husband, though.
That's right. Defend me,
Not
boo.
too
So
much.
we've talked
Big
about
bully.
COVID. We talked about the COVID season. Let's kind of switch gears just for a second, because of course our studio audience is a variety of relationship states. But let's kind of bag up a little bit, just for our studio audience. And studio audience, keep in mind you can ask questions at any time to join this conversation. We would love to hear from you. Tell us how y'all met. We want to know. Take us back. Back to the 90s. How y'all how y'all met? Share with us. Not only how you met, but what was your first opinion of each other back then? Yeah, this is
You
going
want
to
to
get
start
good.
this? Or you want me to start it?
I guess you can start.
Okay. So Ambry joined Antioch 2015, 2016, something like
Okay.
that.
Mhm.
I want to say it might have been 2016. When I first started noticing her, to be honest with you, I thought she was younger than what she really is.
Okay.
So I never even had like I thought the girl was 6. So anyway, 16. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever.
Wow.
But obviously, I realized she was an adult. You know what I mean? But anywho, I think my first kind of way of kind of testing her out to see like how she was as a person, I think I cracked a joke on her.
Mhm.
Everybody knows I'm a joker,
Okay.
jokester rather.
Mhm.
So she had like a hair wrap thing on her head and stuff,
I did.
and I came to her and I can't remember what I called her. I called her something to see how she react to it, and she kind of gave me a
You
chuckle.
called me Erica Badu.
I called you Erica Badu Rag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Called her Erica Badu Rag.
Didn't know me.
Anyway, didn't know if
At all.
really didn't know her name or anything like that. But she gave me like a chuckle. She couldn't deny that it was funny,
Okay.
but it was also like, but you don't know me though.
Right.
It was like, ha, but nah.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
And then from there, I realized she was gonna be working the summer youth program,
Okay.
which means I would be seeing her every day during the summer.
Yes, sir.
And I said opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And so I put my good Mac down.
All right.
I was irresistible.
All right.
You know what I mean? I stepped in on the scene. You know what I mean?
Super clean.
I was so charming. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
All right.
I asked her on a date. She didn't even know she was being set up for a date.
I did.
She didn't. I asked her what kind of food she liked. She told me seafood. I asked her if she tried a certain spot. She said no. Said you got to go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take you. All right, cool. And we went. She didn't even know she was being set up. And we went. After we ate, we walked around for like a couple hours just talking.
Mm.
After we left each other's presence, I called my best friend and told him, "Hey, I think I found the one." He was
Wow.
like, "Whoa,
Right.
let's put a lot on it."
Yeah, that's a lot.
And here we are.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty accurate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this just for the studio audience. I myself, Dwayne Lamar Hyde, the first of my kind, the first of this name. I've been on probably about 200 first dates. Be honest with you. Never called anybody after I've been told them anything except this ain't gonna work. All right. So from your side, because granted, this is y'all have a relatively young relationship as it pertains to y'all's age and as it pertains to the time y'all been together. So in a climate like this, what helped you see that Brandon was the one for you?
I mean, okay.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
For me, I didn't have to worry.
Okay.
And I never felt like he was after something more than he was.
Okay.
Like it was just a genuine friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like, oh, he's just gonna be my friend to get something later. It was a genuine. He cared about me. He would check on me. That was during a time where I was struggling to pass my second certification test, and it was genuinely about me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I experienced something like that.
Wow. Ladies, thing to be mindful of is you have to trust yourself. Have to trust yourself, and you have to trust your process. Just because you may have been in something crazy before doesn't mean everybody crazy. Although a lot of people are crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right. Here's a question from our studio audience, and we love questions from our studio audience. Do you all have mutual friends who are married from different age brackets, who are seen as mentors, or who see you as examples?
I think that
Yes.
goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it a little bit.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. All right.
I mean, we do. Now, I don't think we have any mutual friends that are like just, and I don't mean this offensively, who are like just old.
Okay.
They're still technically young, but they've been in the game for
A while.
for a minute. You know, like
Okay.
10 years. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we have friends that have kind of been married like 10 years and up. We have friends who are like 5 years and below,
Okay.
whatnot. And then we have people who look to us as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we're giving them an example we're looking at. I would hope so.
That's right.
But yeah, so yeah, yes to all of that.
More Amber than you, but hey, listen,
I mean,
it's
you
your,
know, we
your
all a work
team.
in progress.
Your team. Yeah.
We all a work in
Somebody
progress.
got to be Michael. Somebody got to be Steve Kerr. Hey, all right.
Because we all get the ring.
Oh yes, sir. So listen, best advice
Catch it.
and worst advice that you've gotten about marriage. Best advice and worst advice that you've gotten about marriage. Either one of y'all could go. These are great questions, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to ask a great question, please feel free. Write it in the comments. I'll read it right here in front of all of our studio audience. This is going great.
The best advice, and I actually mentioned this in Bible study. The best advice I've gotten about marriage is everything you did to get her, you do to keep her. Don't let your passion and don't let your drive and ambition drop once you get her. Like you got to be consistent.
Okay.
That's the best advice I've gotten. The worst advice on marriage I've ever gotten started with the words, "When it comes to me and my wife." I say that because one, I'm not marrying your wife. People are different, and the way y'all's relationship work is contingent upon how y'all work and tick.
Okay.
I'm not you, she's not her. There's certain things that are universal,
Right.
but when you get talking about specifics, people are different, and you know I can't expect my marriage to work if I'm trying to do this the way I saw such and such do it with his wife, because they're different people.
Okay.
And so yeah.
I'll say the best advice I've gotten was to communicate properly
Okay.
and keep your marital business your business.
Yeah, man.
Everybody doesn't need to have access to your marriage. The worst advice, I can't say that I've had any because I've had some pretty good examples of a marriage.
Beautiful.
I just think fellas just give, well, in most cases, fellas just give horrible advice, in my opinion.
These thoughts and comments of Brandon
They're
Walker
mine. They're
Ministries,
definitely mine.
all alone, is
They
not
know
a
I ain't
reflection
scared
of
of them.
the Antioch Fellowship
I ain't
Baptist
scared of
Church,
them.
nor is it a reflection of our pastor, Chris
scared of them.
Wesley. Here's
No,
a
because
question.
men talk differently about this type of
No,
stuff.
I
than
agree.
women.
I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Here's a question, probably more for Ambry than for you. Not because it's a gender question, but you'll understand when I say it. How do you feel about working out together? Should you let your spouse work out alone?
I don't think I know how to answer that because I'm not insecure when it comes to him being out and about by himself. I could or don't care because I know how he treats me. I know how he makes me feel, and he's shown me to my face who he is. I don't have to worry about it.
That's so good. Let's just take a
You
minute.
made him
let
close
that-
his eyes.
Let that
Ooh.
settle for a second.
Let that marinate, huh?
Because she said that she doesn't have insecurities, but she doesn't have insecurities based off of who he is to her. And I think that's important. It's not necessarily because there's an absence of any type of insecurity, but there's an absence of insecurity based off the facts that she knows about the person that she's with. And maybe the reason why some people may have insecurities is because of a lack of knowledge about who the person they are engaged with. Yes, no?
Yeah.
Here's another question from our studio audience. You guys are doing wonderful tonight. Here's a question. Did you guys have any insecurities while you all were dating? It just kind of flows right into each other. And if you did, how did you handle them? Did you guys have any insecurities while you all were dating? And if you did, how did you handle them? How did you address them?
Insecurities as it pertains to her, absolutely not.
Okay.
Personal insecurities, I did. Just yeah, I don't even know if I want to call them insecurities. I don't know. I guess they could be called insecurities. I just had it, knowing how I felt about her, knowing that eventually it would lead to marriage and
Right.
lifetime together forever. I don't want to feel like that. Especially, and this is a whole another conversation, but especially when you get into preachers and pastors
Right.
being married and stuff. Like I don't want to feel like this. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I've had great examples of marriage. I've had great examples of what a husband looks like. You know what I mean? But it's one thing to have an example of what it looks like. It's another thing when it's on you to execute it. And until I'm in those shoes, I can't say what I would or wouldn't do.
Right.
I would like to think that I never do this, I never do that, I never go this far, I never go that far. Until I'm given the opportunity, I can't necessarily say wholeheartedly what I would or wouldn't do. And so my insecurity came from just that, I guess, fear or concern of just wanting to make sure if I'm going to go all the way with this, I'm going to do it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And what about yourself? Any insecurities while you were dating, and how did you address that?
I don't think I had any insecurities because everything that I was insecure about, I'd already addressed it before he came around.
Okay. That's good there. All right, let me ask you a different question from our studio audience. You guys are doing wonderful.
Come
Proud
on,
of y'all.
questions.
How important is it for you to be aware of who you are first before being able to love the other unconditionally?
That is very important.
Okay.
And I say that because me personally, I had daddy issues.
Okay.
And based on previous relationships, I couldn't bring that into a new one. And I had to understand that my issues weren't because I did something. It was because he made a choice.
Wow.
And people make choices in life, and it's not your fault. So I had to understand it wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. And so after that, it was tunnel vision for me. Either you're going to add to the happiness I've created, or are you going to move around?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's extremely important to know yourself. Let me say a couple things about that. One, because I don't want people to kind of, when we talk about relationships and stuff, knowing yourself a priority regardless.
Right.
You
Right.
know, whether it's whether
Yeah.
you got somebody or dating or whatever, just get to know yourself and become more comfortable with yourself regardless. Like you need that anyway.
Yeah.
It's not contingent upon a relationship. You need that regardless. In addition to that, I would say that don't beat yourself up for what you don't know. Don't beat yourself up for what you still struggle with, and don't make those things reasons for why you don't deserve to be loved and you shouldn't be in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like you want to be as great as possible for you in a relationship.
For sure.
9 times out of 10, you're not going to be as great as what you're going to be. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be in one. That don't mean you shouldn't get married. 'Cause, I ain't got this together, so I shouldn't. I think sometimes we can kind of overdo it. All of us are a work in progress. We're a work in progress forever, really. Like we're all, God is working on all of us. He that began a good work shall complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. We're always going to have. There's always going to be more that we can learn, do, all that good stuff. So don't let it hinder you from the possibilities that God is putting in front of you.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So here's another question from our studio audience. I think this question may be for me, but let me just kind of walk through it. Dating as a Christian is already tough. How do you stay hopeful as a single that you will be found, especially in this time of isolation because of social distancing? I would say this. I think that ultimately God knows what's best for us. This is my church answer first, because I think you need to hear it from a Christian perspective. If we trust that God knows what's best for us, then we also have to trust that the same God who created the universe has already made a way for your mate to find you, if that's what God has designed in this season. It's important that we don't just trust God with the things we pray about, but we trust God with the entirety of our lives. And as a single Christian, because you follow Christ, Christ is only going to allow the best things for your life in the seasons that he has already predestined and ordained. So if somebody finds you in this season, it's because God has allowed them, but you got to make sure God sent them, because God ain't the only person sending people into other folks' lives. So it's not necessarily about being found in this season. It's about being found when God is ready for you to be found. And if God is not ready for you to be found in this season, that means there's some more work that God wants to do, either in you or through you, before you're found. So I think that's vitally important. Keep on asking questions. We're having a good time here. We're going to ask some more lighthearted questions now, because we've been deep in some deep waters.
So deep.
You know what I mean?
So deep.
No, it's just because I'm a quality host. So let's just ask some
You're
light
also
questions.
humble.
I mean,
Very
yeah,
humble.
Okay. Yeah.
Very humble.
The teacher's his own. All right. So we're gonna ask some great questions. Just some lighthearted questions. Favorite TV shows? Go.
You
gotta
know
go
mine.
quick.
Martin.
Okay.
I'm a Western girl, so I like Gunsmoke.
All right.
Granny.
Yeah, Grandma. All right.
Grandma's hands.
Let's ask a different question. Favorite ice cream? Go.
Cookies and cream.
Pecan praline cream.
All right. Ask one more question. Favorite color? Go.
Pink.
Blue.
All right. Now.
I just said something. I just said something.
Now that we got that done, I'm going to ask this a little differently now. Now I'm going to ask you his favorites, and I'm going to ask you her favorite.
I'm going to lose this.
And y'all are going to tell us. We're going to see, my studio audience, how well they know each other. All right?
This full disclaimer here.
Okay, give us a full disclaimer.
Despite what I get wrong, okay?
Okay.
Despite what I get wrong, one thing I got right was marrying her.
Oh, wow.
Isn't this
Wow.
the questions? No.
Ladies and gentlemen, when they do things like this, expect dark days ahead. All right? Just expect this about to go off the rails. What's Ambry's biggest fear?
I don't think Amber has fears. Wow. She ain't scared of nothing. I'm serious.
First of all, I'm scared of God. Let's just start.
But that's, not scared. You just reverential fear. You know what I mean? But I don't think.
No.
I don't think you just. I don't know. I wouldn't say she has any.
Okay. What's Brandon's biggest fear?
Not being able to take care of me.
Yeah.
Who got it? Did he get it right? Okay. Did she get it right?
Yeah, she did. She's spot on.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's really sweet. I didn't even know you was this caring. Y'all, put some hearts in here for little Brandon. Look, his greatest fear is not being able to take care of. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, not being able to take care. Never mind. Let's move on. Oh, did you? All right. Let me ask a different question. Favorite childhood friend. Ambry's favorite childhood friend.
Childhood friend?
I couldn't do just favorite friend because you already know that. Who's her favorite childhood friend?
Her sister, the next oldest after her.
Thank you so much. It's been a long day.
No,
y'all.
you didn't.
It's been
No,
been a
you
long
didn't.
day. It's been a long day, boy. I get emotional. You shocked me. I didn't think you with this. Yeah, don't do that to your pastor. Satan the Lord be against you. All right. All right.
You didn't.
Her sister. Who is Brandon's favorite childhood friend?
Chris.
Chris Wesley. All right. Did Brandon get it right?
Mhm.
Wow. Did Ambry get it right?
Yeah.
All right. I got a good question. Your first child's name.
Okay.
If it's a girl and if it's a boy, what's the baby's name? What would Ambry name the baby?
Okay.
I'm good at this.
We've had a few conversations about this.
Okay.
This is why it's difficult to answer.
Let's see if you're going to get it right.
If it's a girl, it's Harlow.
Mhm.
Harlow. I think Harlow Grace, I think.
Mhm.
If it's a girl.
Okay.
If it's a boy, this just recently changed.
Dwayne Lamar.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Uh
Wow. That's a great name.
yeah. I read somewhere Dwayne is like Greek for like armpit scratcher or something. But anyway,
Wow.
if it's a boy,
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what my response is. I will get him back in due time.
if it's a boy, because recently her grandfather transitioned, so now we're rethinking the boy's name
Mhm.
to see if there's a way we can honor her grandfather if God should bless us with a boy.
Amen.
Yeah.
What would Brandon name your daughter and your son?
Well, we agreed upon the same name. So for the girl, Harlow. Originally for the boy, Lennox.
Lennox, yeah.
Lennox Paul. But since the passing of my grandfather, we got.
Now there's another idea of a name for a girl that I can't disclose, but just know if we're able to do it, it's gonna be wonderful. I just want to put that out there and make y'all be like, oh, I wonder what it is.
We don't wonder.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, folks,
do.
we're moving on.
They
One
do.
host.
They
All
do.
right. So another question. Just gonna throw one out here. What is? I can't do happiest memory because my wedding. Oh, cry. Okay.
I wouldn't be for her.
Really? What's your happiest What's Ambry's happiest memory?
The day she met me. What you mean?
Oh.
Duh.
All right.
Ugh.
Humble much.
What kind of questions
And
are
what's
these?
Brandon's happiest memory?
Asking me to marry him.
Did Ambry get it right?
No.
Okay. Did Brandon get it right?
I mean, he did.
That was your happiest memory in your lifetime. Just cool.
In my lifetime?
Yeah.
Oh, then no.
Oh, okay, well, all right. No worries. Y'all can discuss that at home. All right, I have a question from my studio audience. Before all of this started, all of this dating and whatnot, I'm supposing, did you guys have game nights with other friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a pretty straightforward question. All right.
I'm like, is this going somewhere? is this somebody that knows me?
Let me tell you something. When I read it, I just figured it was gonna happen differently than it did. And like when y'all answer, I'm like, that is the only answer.
I feel like
you
I'm
can
being
say.
set up. Like,
I started reading. I was like, yes. I even answered it myself. All right, let's try this again. When y'all were dating, all right, never mind, because the answer is yes. I was at some of those game nights. Oh, before COVID. Thank you. That's Pastor Chris Wesley. High on his spiritual gifts test is discernment. He discerned it correctly. All right. Before COVID happened, before all of this COVID happened, did you guys have game nights with other friends?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to blow up their spot, but Brandon and Ambry host a wonderful game night. Now, I can't promise you that you'll necessarily be invited, but I can tell you for certain they're great to be at. All right? We're going to continue to move on. We're going to continue to move on.
What do you like about our game nights the most?
I think it is the refreshments. And please hear me, ladies and gentlemen, before everybody lose their mind. Hear what I'm trying to say. Ambry cooks. They like, you know how you go to a game night and they have like game night food, like rotel and chips and stuff. I mean, we've had that from time to time. But most of the time when we go, there is a full spread of food. Like there's mad variety of food and drinks, and drinks, and it's just a great time. It feels like family. But the most important part is that they do the food portion right, which makes the whole night better.
Amen.
All right? Yeah.
Amen.
And Ambry is a
Amen.
wonderful host. Now, I'll say this, that Brandon goes to sleep early. Brandon goes to sleep early, and,
I'm not ashamed.
so that's just something that you guys may never be able to experience because they may not invite y'all to game night. But I'll keep y'all updated. All right?
I'm not ashamed.
Make
I'm
sure,
not
ladies and
ashamed.
gentlemen, y'all continue to ask us. Y'all continue to ask us questions. We want to
confident
make
in me.
sure that this is a great opportunity. So let me ask y'all this, because both of y'all, to some extent, are involved in ministry here at the church. Both of y'all, to some extent, have a lot of involvement of being really public figures, whether that's in the church or in the community. How do you maintain having fun, right? How do you maintain having fun and engaging people while you still have this larger responsibility to people outside of your family and outside of your home?
It's important to have smaller gatherings or go to places that you typically won't run into people. And not that you're hiding something, it's just you just want your peace. There's a time, to socialize with other people, and if you run into somebody, it is what it is. But there's a time where you just genuinely want to be with your spouse or just with your friends without disruption.
Okay.
So
For me, from my standpoint, as a pastor or whatnot, your circle is extremely imperative. Because in my opinion, a preacher's circle is really the only space where he can be fully himself.
Okay.
And when I say fully himself, I don't necessarily mean that there's an evil side of him where he's doing something he shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But let's be real. People have their idea of what a preacher pastor looks like, what they do, what they don't do, how they should dress, how they should do this, how they should do that. And honestly, there's nothing sinful about it. There's like nothing. You know what I mean? Like I've literally been walking down like in Bishop Arts on my way to go eat, and like a church member sees me and be like, "What you doing out here?" Eating.
Right.
There are restaurants around here.
Yeah.
Just like you. Like
Right.
you're eating. Do preachers not eat?
Right.
Outside of their homes? Like, you know what I mean? And so your circle is extremely important. And so for me, just having the circle that we have and just sharing in those intimate, moments with our people is extremely important for us.
One of our faithful viewers posted this, and I just want to read it. She's our top fan for our checkpoints. Sister Joyce Hampton said, "Brandon Walker, treat her right at all times as your wife."
Will do.
Thank you so much, Joyce. And Sister Janet also wanted to make a suggestion that we actually have a game night at the church. And it will be hosted by the Walkers, Sister Janet. Could y'all go ahead and agree to that? My studio audience is waiting.
We'll see what we can do.
Wow. All right.
I don't make the final decisions here, so,
All right.
We'll see what we can do.
We'll check in that with Pastor Chris, and we'll get right back to you,
We'll
Janet.
see what we can do. I don't want to make any
Keep the
promises.
questions in the comments coming. We're having a great time tonight. All right. Let's ask a different question. Most awkward thing that has happened since you all been married amongst yourselves. The most awkward thing that has happened since you all been married amongst yourselves.
Most awkward thing?
Most awkward. The most awkward between you two.
I
since
can
y'all
think
been
of one, but I
married.
can't tell that one.
Okay, don't tell that one, please. Remember, I got a PG-13 audience.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Conscious of y'all out there.
I don't know.
While they're thinking, keep in mind, you're more than welcome to send in some questions. We want you to be a part of this conversation. You are an amazing studio audience. I don't care what no one says. All right?
We haven't had too many awkward moments, honestly.
Oh, really, yo, perfect. All right, Mary and
No, we're
Joseph.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm just getting warmed up. All right. They had Jesus, all right, so we hear that a source, one of my sources close to my show, has confirmed that you all will be receiving a new guest in your home, a new family member in your home, and we want to kind of delve into that a little bit. Would you guys like to kind of reveal to my studio audience what's changing about your way of life over the next 24 hours?
I'm getting my wife a dog.
Okay. Okay. Talk to us about it. Why a dog? Why not a lizard?
She
Why
asked
not
for
a
dog.
goldfish?
She asked for a dog.
Okay. And what kind of dog is
A
it?
cane corso.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that is.
It's an Italian Mastiff.
It's a what now?
Italian Mastiff.
That sounded so smart. I just wanted to say it again.
So it's a
It's an Italian Mastiff.
it's a European puppy. All right. Now let me ask y'all a question. Why was it? Why now? Why now do you bring in this dog? Why now do you bring in this extra entity into your family life?
Honestly,
Yeah.
just because I asked for like 2 years for a dog.
She's been asking. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So please listen to this. Persistence pays off. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. Persistence pays off. And I think also you got to understand that patience pays off, right? She said she's been asking for a dog for 2 years. She finally got her dog. And that's good for all of us to know that if Brandon can get his wife a dog after she asked for 2 years, God can answer some of your prayers, although you've been waiting for a while. You see how that turned on you? Just a little church. We still Christians. You deserve to know that God still answers his children. If a
Amen.
man can do it, your God show can do it.
Amen.
All
How
right?
much more?
Oh, yes, sir.
How
All
much
right.
more was your heavenly Father?
So once again, let's have a little fun here. If Brandon lost his eyebrows, Brandon, I'm sorry. If Brandon
And this
lost
is why we can have a game out here. This is why.
if Brandon lost his eyebrows and his eyelashes in some freak accident, what's your initial response?
That.
like he's not hurt. He's not nothing.
There's some
He
kind of weird way.
it's
This
some
burned
weird way.
off.
His
Okay.
eyebrows and his lashes fell off. What's your initial response? Ain't like he's staring at you, bald face, up top.
No, give it a look.
And he say, "Is it bad?" What's your answer?
Not gonna lie. I'm gonna laugh first. It's gonna happen. Then I'll fix it.
Okay.
Might have to shave the other one off and, make them even.
Okay.
I can't help with eyelashes.
All right. So if you woke up. Okay. So one day, if you woke up out of nowhere, and Ambry has a full goatee, much like yours, just out of nowhere, nothing happened. She just woke up one day, ate a bad piece of pork or something, woke up the next morning, full goatee. What's your initial response?
Me and this new dog gonna take a long walk to give me some time to think about what I'm going to say because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
Right.
Because I know what my initial response will be, and I can't say it because we're in church.
For sure.
I'm like, what? So me and the dog will go take a little walk. God, give me wisdom.
Yes, sir.
Give me wisdom.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll come back and be like, baby, look, you had to go to the barbershop with me and get this cut.
Somebody said, "Really, a beard?" I had nothing else. I'm sorry. Many women have none. Many women have beards, but we not. That's not.
I mean, it ain't
listen,
a lie, but we ain't here to talk
time for
about
another
that.
show.
It
Another
ain't-
show.
we ain't here to talk about
about
that.
the bearded lady syndrome.
And chest hair, but we're not here to talk about that.
Not today. Not today.
No,
guys.
not this checkpoint.
We still support you, no matter
Amen.
what.
And you deserve to be loved.
You do by somebody who
loved.
loves you,
By somebody
and
who loves
especially your
you.
God. All right, another scenario. You ready?
Okay.
You have a choice. You can receive $6 million. Don't know why 6 million is the number. You can receive $6 million, or you can be stuck in COVID with your mate.
Somebody said love her anyway. I didn't say I was gonna stop loving her,
That's true.
but we going to this barbershop.
Yeah, she got to go to the barbershop. At least get it edged up.
At least.
That's the least you can do. If you want to keep it, get it edged up. Get it,
Amen.
make it. All right, $6 million, and then you can reunite with your significant other after COVID, or stay with your significant other during COVID, during this whole season. Which one do you choose?
Wait.
So if you get $6 million, you leave the house, you don't reunite with Ambry until after all of this is over, or you just keep things the way they are from this point forward. Which one
Studio
do you
audience
choose?
have any questions?
Huh?
Does the studio audience have any questions?
No.
None at all.
This is
Like
good.
none. So out of all the times y'all had these questions tonight, y'all ain't got questions now. I see what this is.
Yeah, they want to know. This is a question that
I see
all of
what-
us are interested in
I
knowing.
see what's going on.
Okay, Tanya, I see you. All right, go ahead. Either one of y'all can answer first. The
I wanna hear
silence
this. I
makes
wanna
me
hear your answer.
uncomfortable, but go ahead.
I want to hear her answer.
$6 million and you can reunite after COVID, or keep things the way they
Okay,
are.
this could go one of two ways. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
If we were at odds and I didn't like him, I'd probably take the 6 million. But because I love my husband and I like him, two different things. I would stay. And we're not sick, so
I'm not lying to you. I didn't see that coming. That's the only reason why I'm still quiet.
I
All
didn't
right.
either because I'm thinking 6 million. That's not too bad. Trust me, for 6 million, she'll love me after this.
So
You
Amber,
have a whole community of dogs with 6 million.
Amber, you're saying that instead of the 6 million, you would prefer to stay at the house with your husband through COVID.
because I can find ways to spend that money.
All right, amen. Okay, Brandon. I'm not even gonna put you in a situation because it's kind of awkward now.
Thank God for technology. We can FaceTime every day. You know,
You
We
gotta
can-
go.
we can FaceTime all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's many ways we can get around it.
You gotta
Nah,
see this.
I'll stay home.
Would you?
Yes.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly
he was
believe you.
hesitant
No, he
about
wasn't
that.
hesitant. He was just entertaining the audience. It's a show. It's a show. Part of this is
don't-
entertainment, but the truth
Okay.
came.
My man.
Yeah. So here's another question. No, that was a tough one.
Got a little hot.
Yeah, it was. It made me a little nervous after she answered. Oh, awkward. No questions from the studio audience.
No
Please.
questions at all? Oh,
Please, ladies and gentlemen,
Jesus
if
Christ.
you have any questions, please let us know. We're headed toward the end of our show for this week, and we want to make sure that we don't leave you out, whether serious or entertaining. Please act, but appropriate.
Amen.
Amen. Please make sure you ask. Somebody said hello FaceTime. Make sure you ask your question. All right. So if you would give us a little. Give us from both of y'all just a little nugget of inspiration, a little nugget of wisdom based off of your experience with marriage, your time in being married. Give us something that as single people, as people in relationships, as people in marriage, whether for a long time or a short time, give us something that you have learned, something that you have witnessed, something that would help us on our journey, either toward marriage, stay in marriage, being happy with one another. Give us something that we could leave on tonight.
Being patient with yourself, loving yourself, and just having, I guess, grace for yourself and for other people. This is a new norm for everybody. So, yeah, that's what I got.
I like it.
In addition to what she said, because she said basically everything I was going to say, but in addition to that, remember that you're not always right. There are certain things about you that makes loving you difficult. And so be grateful that you have someone that loves you despite the difficult parts of you and who's willing to be patient with your growth and your process and your progress. Be intentional about your progress.
Right.
Your progress requires you to take steps and to take actions and to do certain things. Your progress is your responsibility. And one of the greatest ways you demonstrate your love for the person that you're with is being intentional about your progress. So,
We have one more last question, if y'all don't mind taking it from our studio audience. It's a little personal one, so y'all can choose after I ask it. In the unlikely event that you all, it stopped. Is it off on the thing, Justin? Justin? Is it still rolling? Oh, so it did stop. We're done.
oh, okay. Well, there's it.
Hey, no, I'm good with it. I just
I
want.
did want to know what that question
Oh,
was.
The
so
question
YouTube.
was in the event that y'all. Oh, are we still rolling on YouTube? Oh, sorry, YouTube audience. Love y'all. Thank you for sticking with us. In the unlikely event, God forbid, that you all are not able to conceive, is adoption an option for you all?
Yeah.
Okay, pretty straightforward answer. Adoption is an option. And once again, this is what I'll ask. I'll ask this on behalf of our studio audience, on behalf of our church family, and the larger audience that we that we appeal to. Please keep Brandon and Amber, the Walkers, in your prayers. I think that they have a unique opportunity, especially at this age and during this time, to really be an example of marriage and what fun, happy, wholesome, and holy marriage would look like. For our friend circle, they are definitely our example, but they're also they also open up their lives to us so that we could actually navigate, or at least have something to measure that looks, sounds, feels like us, and feels our age. And it's a wonderful thing to be a witness to. But we also know that through prayer, that's how marriage lasts, and not only lasts, but that's how a good marriage works. Tonight, we just want to say thank you so much for joining in on our checkpoint. We want to thank the Walkers. I think we've had a wonderful, fun, as well as encouraging and informative time. I also want to remind you that please do not forget about Family Ties this Saturday, and be sure to tune in to Antioch Unplugged. We're starting a little early, so don't forget, Pastor Chris will continue his series entitled To All Generations. It's been a great series so far, and we hope to continue on with that. Listen, thank y'all so much for joining in. We had a great time with you, and we'll see you soon. God bless you.